In freestyle judo, you can win by a throw, a choke, or an arm lock. Ippon. In newaza, I hold them down, osaikomi waza, osaikomi, 20 seconds, worth 4 points. Wazari. But it's worth 4 points. Okay? That doesn't mean if I throw a guy for wazari and I hold him for 20 seconds, 2 wazaris do not make ippon.
So there's near fall points but no pin.
Correct. Correct. Like a near fall, yeah. And we picked that up from wrestling and sambo. And it made a lot of sense. Because what we're doing now is allowing more newaza, more ground fighting, a little more technical things can happen there. Not that pinning is not a technical thing, don't get me wrong. But this allows a little more ground fighting time too. So, osaikomi, I'm holding my hand out. We like to see you hold your hand out. In judo now, they pull it back, okay? Do they do that now, you guys? Do they pull it back anymore? Osaikomi.
No, you hold it out.
They still hold it out? Okay, because I have not done IGF judo in a number of years. But we prefer to have you continue to hold that out. If it's red, your red hand's out.
To continue for the whole pin?
Yeah, just so everybody knows,
Oh, we don't do that.
we've got it working.
You hold it out there for about 3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay, and we do this because now everybody knows what's going on. There's osaikomi in progress here, okay? And I picked that up off sambo because now the referee is letting everybody know I'm making this call. You know, it could be this one, it could be white, you know, and I'm making this call. So that's a good thing to do. We don't really get hard at it that you have to do it. If you want to pull it back, you're used to doing it, okay, but make sure that the osai, and this way everybody knows, the coaches, everybody knows the osaikomi is still in effect, right? When it's not in effect and he escapes, toketa. So it's like this, he's holding, the guy gets out before 20 seconds is up, toketa. You know, get the time on it, you know, the time equivalency, then you make the call. And the clock's going to tell you. Yes, there is a separate osaikomi time clock.
Can you give us the time?
Yes, yes. Upon initiation of control, let me think, going back on memory here. If it's the full 20 seconds, it is worth 4 points, okay? If it is 10 seconds, it is worth 2 points. If you got initiation control to 5 seconds, it is worth 1 point, okay? So it's 4, 2, and 1, 20, 10, and 5.
I'm curious. I watched a couple of kids that, especially the kids that do the pin. Well, they weren't kids; they were adults, but they do the pin, and they got the 4 points, and then the referee said, "Submit."
Yes, we're going to talk about that.
What the kid did is the one that was dominant flipped over the other kid, rolled him completely over himself, put him back into another pin.
Well, that's because, let's talk about that in a minute. That's a great question. We'll talk about that in a minute. So I'm the referee, and let's just say red is holding, you know, osaikomi. And I've got this, you know, and now I'm watching the clock, or they're okay, and I see that 4 points. Now, if you want to call wazari, okay, wazari, or 4 points, red, go for your submission. Now, he is required, red, who is holding white, is required to try to do a choke or an arm lock on him to finish the match. He got his 4 points. Let's say he threw him. He got 4 points for the throw. So he's 4 points up. Okay, then he got 4 points. So he's 8 up now. He's 8 points to the other guy's nothing or whatever it may be before. So he's just scored 8 points. Now I'm telling him as the referee, go for your submission. Okay, after the 20 seconds are up. Now if he stands up, no man, I want you to do some newaza. That's why we made this rule. So you continue to do some newaza here to try to finish it off. Make it, you know, try to finish the opponent off. Remember the original concept of osaikomi? I know I'm being a geek on this. Osaikomi means to immobilize an opponent. The osai. And the komi is the actual application of that immobilization. And the purpose of immobilizing an opponent is what? In a real fight, do you just, okay, I won that fight, you know, I stand up. No, the idea is then to go on for some other finishing move. That's the original concept. What's wrong with that? That's pretty cool. And it makes our guys better at newaza too when they have that. So that's what you're doing here, guys.
Why would I even bother getting points? Why wouldn't I just go for it?
Yeah, well, you could just go for the, you know, you go for the submission. Yeah, you know.
That's not the case for the kids, right?
Not the kids. The kids we have, and thank you for bringing that up. So, and let's diverge here a little bit. In in kids' rules, now we allow in AAU Judo chokes from 11 and up, okay? 11 and up, okay? And, you know, Shime Waza. And Kensetsu Waza, ages 15 and up. Or anyone in a senior weight class. If you're a 14-year-old and you're a stud and you're fighting the men in the men's whatever 165-pound class or 178, wherever you are, you're fighting under senior rules now. We don't dumb down the rules for kids, and I'm not saying we're dumbing down the rules, but we don't, you know, modify them. You're fighting as an adult. You fight under adult rules, so that's one thing. But, excuse me, if we do have two kids, and let's say two 9-year-olds, right, and they're competing, we still allow them because they can't choke and they can't arm lock, can they? They can throw, so we're going to give them another way to win on the ground. They can hold for 25 seconds, then you can hold for ippon if you're in the junior rules, okay?
And 20 is still a Wazari.
20 would be the Wazari, 10 would be the Yuko, 5 would be the Koka. Yeah. So kids do have two ways to win, throwing and ground, if they're not allowed to choke.
So from 11 up is one thing, and 10 and below.
Yeah, and say we've got two 12-year-olds. Now, they can choke, but they can't arm lock. Okay? So they have now throws, they can hold for ippon, they can choke for ippon. So we have three ways they can do ippon now. Now, when we get to 15 and over, then we do the senior rules.
So when you get the armbar, you lose the pin, basically.
Well, yeah, let's say you've held them, you got your 4 points, right?
Right.
I say, red, go for your submission. Right. Okay, well, you've got your points. That's all you're going to get. You're not going to get any more 4 points for the holdout. Go for your submission. And that's what we want you to do. Now, directly to Ed's question, what happened maybe, the guy tried the submission and it didn't work. And the other guy got out. Well, if that's the case, I lost control, say red lost control of white. He tried to get the submission, but white went back to they had a scramble basically. And now it's anybody's game. And now we're back to square. Okay, so if I break him down again, I may get a point for a breakdown. I could stick him into a pin again and get 4 more points for my hold down. So that's what happened in that situation, I'm sure. That he tried the submission. Well, maybe to you, but that's what happened. That's why they're officials and you have an opinion off the side of the mat. All right. So, but that's probably how the officials called it. So that could happen. So we would want you to go for a choke or an arm lock after that and try to, and if it didn't work and they scrambled out, it didn't. But we want them to be aggressive in the newaza. That's why we made that rule. Yes, sir. Anthony.
I just had a question. If a lot of times in national judo, you see the guy, they throw him, they go to the ground, they just stand back up. Is there a penalty for
Not necessarily. If I choose to throw you and I don't want to engage, then I know I'm beating you on standing. Yes, there's no penalty for that. I'm not required to go to the mat from a throw, you know, and because I may have just a few seconds left, and I know you are an animal on arm locks. I don't want any part of you on the ground. And I know I'm up by 2 points or something, and I knock you down. Oh man, I'm staying away. I understand that. That's part of the tactics of it. You know. Now if I'm running away from you, that's another thing. But if I'm playing it smart, yeah. So we still want the full range of tactics to be used as well, and that would be a clear example of that.
So
Okay.
it's okay if they're on the ground, the guy knows I'm not doing well.
Yeah, I can stand up. Yeah, that's right. If he knows I'm just not beating this guy and I only got so much time left, I know I can throw him, I think, then yeah, we're going to stand up. But once you from the osai komi, we want you to try to go for a finishing hold, shime or arm lock, kensetsu waza. So that's that. But let's talk about points for ground fighting now. This is where we make a difference. Okay, we validate things by giving them names, don't we? Or giving them some kind of a point assessment. Okay, for years, judo we haven't given specific names to various things on the ground. Now, yeah, different pins, the concept of osai komi, we've got that, katame waza, we've got that. But specifically turning a man over or breaking him down from a stable to an unstable position, we haven't named that. We haven't given that any point value even. But those are legitimate judo techniques. And like Vincente and I were talking about earlier, think of it this way. If we're on the ground and we're doing newaza, and come on over here. And he's on elbows and knees. Have your head facing Scott. There you go. And if he's on elbows and knees, okay, and I take him from a stable to an unstable position, think of this like a throw, only on the ground. Okay, because that's what we're doing in standing throwing, aren't we? We're taking from stable to unstable. We're using Kazushi, Sukure, Kake, and then finish him off with Kime, the follow-through. Well, that's what I'm doing here in Newaza as well. So, bam, he's down here. I do the far arm, I do the near leg, follow up, bam. I just turned him from a nice, happy position he thought he had onto his back. So I took from stable to unstable. Well, that's worth something, we think.
And you don't have to control them at the end.
Don't have to. We're going to talk about that. Good. No, at the end, you don't have to, and we're going to talk about that. Yeah, yeah. But so I took him. I just happened to follow with the,
Yeah.
in a osaikomi. You had a question? Okay. So that was worth something, just like a throw. I may have thrown him for a yuko, and wasn't able maybe to follow up with a osaikomi or something, but it had value. So this does too. Okay. Any time I take him from stable to unstable. Here's another position. That's worth 1 point. So if you want to call koka red, koka white, 1 point red, 1 point white. Again, in Kansas City, we call the point numerical value, and that would be that. Why do we do that? Because it gives another level of objective evaluation of this match. Okay? It takes a little less of my subjectivity out and forces me as an official to make a very clear objective call. This has value, and I have to assign that value to it. And that's the point of doing this. Okay? So that's what this is about in doing points for breakdowns. I call them breakdowns because you're breaking them down from a stable to unstable. Call them turnovers if you wish, that's fine, but it doesn't always address the things that happen. Here's another thing that isn't traditionally called a turnover. I'm going to do from the bottom, like guard position. I'm going to spin you over. No, I'm going to beat it. I'm doing. So this is worth 1 point. Okay, the 1 point. All right, so I'm here. All right, now what I'm going to do, I'm going to spin under you, do a Juji Gatame.
Okay.
So I may be a real Juji Gatame guy, which I happen to like a lot. Okay, grab here, I spin under, I roll him over. Now, was he stable just a few seconds ago? Is he stable now? No. That's worth a point, isn't it? Here's a good judo technique. I took it from stable to unstable. Now, if I can continue on to Juji, I'm there as a referee to make that call. He may be fighting this like crazy, and I didn't, but I still took him from stable to unstable. I may go to an osaikomi, something else. So there's a clear situation. Thank you. Just stick around here. We may use you. There's a clear situation taking from stable to unstable. That is a breakdown. That's worth a point. Okay? So that's why you can fight off your back. Remember the phrase newaza? We all think it means ground fighting. You know what newaza really means? Ne is to be in a reclining position. Waza is technique. So what the Brazilians call the guard, which was originally called newaza, it started from this. This was the original ground fighting in judo. When we saw a lot of more wrestling and sambo stuff, and we saw more of the elbows and knees, this is what we saw a lot in the old days. Speaking of old days, Jerry LaFon has a question.
That's worth $5. He's on his fours. I get on him. I get my hooks in and I splatter him for a koka. Is that a...
No. That's. I've got to get him. That's a good question. We consider that seriously. It's a good breakdown. It's a good breakdown. We really thought, that's. But we said we're going to be seeing that a lot when they'll just hold him there. What we'd like to see him is get him on his back. So we really, and that could be changed in the future.
No, I'm not.
But right now, turning him to his back somehow is going to be Jeff, what you're getting. That's going to be the validation that takes it from stable to unstable.
For the breakdown.
Yeah, for the breakdown. Because that also left a lot of gray area there, because I may just have one hook in, like a near leg ride, and pop them down, and I look for the referee for that. No, because you'll see that a lot of wrestlers will do that will think they can get a point. And no, we want them more complete. So by getting them onto the back, then we have that validation
So in
there.
other words,
And I'll follow